Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the Turtle Graphics Racing tutorial series, whatever you want to call this. As you can see from the code right here, we have our little setup. We have our lonely boy and lonely boy girlfriend. If you haven't seen the part 1 yet, go ahead and check it out somewhere. There will be a link. We're going to clean up our code a little bit. We're going to throw it inside of a function just to make things a little bit nicer. So we're going to go ahead and create a function. What was that? I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and create a function and we'll call it create turtle, and we'll pass in, we won't pass anything in, I guess. All we're gonna do is just indent. No, we should pass something in. Let's pass in a color. Let's pass in a shape, a color, and let's also pass in, I believe that's it. Yeah, let's just do that. And then what we're going to do, oh, and then our turtle's name. Yeah, like that. Yeah, okay, so then we can do something like turtle's name is going to be equal to turtle, and instead of doing lonelyboy.shape, we'll do turtle's name. Turtle's name.shape is going to be equal to shape, or not the word shape, but the variable shape. And then we're going to do turtle's name dot color is going to be color, so whatever is passing here for color. And then if we get rid of this, and then this was just an example, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. Actually, I'll delete all of this. We don't really need it too much. Okay, and then I'm gonna call create turtle, and I'm gonna pass in lone. Also, I spelled lonely wrong. I just realized it's lonely boy, like that, lonely boy. So no one make fun of me about that, because it's not fun. Shape, we're gonna go with a turtle shape, and a color. I guess for our first one, we'll do green, right? Green. Actually, wait. Let's do this. I think I might change this. Lonely boy is going to be equal to turtle. Yeah, we'll do this. Temp. So we'll just call this turtle temp, and what we're going to do is essentially just create it. It's going to be our default values, and we're going to return our temp turtle. So we're going to return temp, just like this, and then we have to get rid of this parameter. Sorry, I might have made that a little bit more confusing. Alright, so now that we have this lonely boy created, I just changed the name right here to general turtle instead of temp, just because it's going to be creating a generic turtle. So whenever we create a turtle, we don't have to write this 3 different times for every single turtle. We can just call this function and it'll do it for us. So we're going to do the same thing but for lonely boy's girlfriend. So we'll do lonely boy's girlfriend. Perfect, just like that. And remember, her color was red, so we'll pass in the color red. You see how much easier this is to use this function. We don't have to create these lines for each individual turtle and just have repeating code. So now what we're going to do is we need to work on, so if we run this, we should have green and then a red turtle on top. So you're not really going to be able to see green, but yeah, we have our red. So we want to actually create a starting line and a finish line right here. So to do that, we're going to create another turtle that's going to be in charge of just drawing the lines, and we'll call that turtle, we'll call him Captain. And we're going to create a turtle, and we're going to give it some generic. We're going to set some default values for our shape. So to set default values, we can just pass them in right here and just set them equal. And we'll do the color teal. Captain's going to be teal. Okay, cool. So now if we run this, we should have a till turtle right there. There we go. So you can't see it that much, but if you like zoom in, use your imagination a little bit, you'll see a till little arrow. So now what we want to do is we want to move him, or whatever captain is, to this position, somewhere right here, so we can draw a starting line, right? So to do that, Turtle Graphics has a really cool function called goto, and essentially you want to think of your computer as an X and Y axis, right? So, you know, I'll try my best. So if you want to go to the right, it's going to be a positive number. If you want to go up, it's going to be a positive number. Left is negative, down is negative, right? So, and it's going to be based on your screen resolution, right? So, you know, if your screen resolution, if your display is really poor, then your numbers are going to be a lot smaller. But if you have really, really good screen resolution, your numbers are going to be a lot higher. So let me just demonstrate this. So I'm going to say, hey, Captain, I want you to go to a certain position, right? And then if you go right here, it'll tell you an X and a Y value, 2 coordinates. So do you want to go to the left X and then up? So that'd be negative and then positive, or do you want to go positive X and negative Y? So depending on where you want to go on the screen is going to be the value. So for me, I want to go to the left and up because that's where I want to start my finish line. So I'll just start off with something like negative 350, and then I'll go up, let's say 350, and I'm just throwing in random values just to see where they're at on the screen, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so look at that. So I went to the left 350 pixels, and then I went up 350 pixels. This is like a decent height, maybe a little bit lower, so maybe like 300 instead of 350, and I want to be a little bit closer to the edge, so maybe instead of negative 350, I'll do maybe like negative 400, right? So negative 400, and I want to be a little bit lower, right? So I don't want to be as high, so my Y is going to be lower. So if we run this again, okay, that's a little bit better. I'll do that, but now we have another issue, right? We have this stupid line right here. It's kind of in our way. We don't really want this line. We don't need it. We want a line to be going down right here for our starting line, but we'll get there. So to get rid of this line, Turtle has another cool little function called penup. So when you're drawing with Turtle Graphics, you can think of your turtle as having its own individual pen, and it's just drawing whatever you want it to draw. If you don't want it to draw, but you want it to move, you can just pick up your pen off the paper. So now if we run it with just pen up, there we go. Our turtle's gonna move without drawing, right? So now that we're in the position we want to be, now we can put our pen back down. So we can say captain.pen down, and now the pen is going to be back on this white canvas, and we can start drawing again. Now there's 2 different ways we can try to draw this. We can use goto again and just essentially go to this location, or we can rotate to the right and then go forward. That's a different approach. Or we can even use a different function called set position. And it's honestly, I don't even know the difference between goto and set position. So let's try it out. So we'll say, hey Captain, I want you to set your position. And yeah, it's kind of the exact same thing as goto. So goto and set position are very similar. Move turtle to an absolute position. Let's see if we hover over this one. What did it say? Move turtle to, yeah, they're the exact same pretty much. Okay, cool. So I guess we'll stay consistent. We'll use goto. And we're gonna stay at negative 400, right? Because our line is gonna be straight vertically, so we don't want it to be any more to the left or any more to the right. However, instead of being 300 pixels up, maybe we want to be negative 300 pixels below, right? So here's our center. Here's 300, maybe negative 300's down here. We'll go ahead and see what that looks like. So if we run this, oh, I have to exit out of it. So you have to exit out of these windows. It's a little annoying, but there we go. So we have our line. So we stayed at negative 400, but this is positive 300 in the Y direction, and this is negative 300 in the Y direction. Okay, cool. So let's go. We're gonna go ahead and move both of our lonely boy and lonely boy girlfriend behind this line, and that'll be it for this video. Oh, our finish line. Actually, let's do our finish line. So we'll kind of do. Oh, I ran again. We'll kind of do a very similar thing. We'll go ahead and copy this, and again, in between videos, I'll go ahead and clean this code up and explain what I did in the next video. But for now, I'm just gonna just throw it on here just so we can see. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this. So this is my final position at the end of my starting line. So this code is in charge of drawing our starting line. And then this code is gonna be in charge of drawing our finish line. So first thing we want to do is pick up our pen so we can go to a certain position. So now we're going to be on the right side of the screen. So maybe we'll be at positive 400 to the right and positive 300 up. That makes perfect sense, I think. And then the same thing. So in positive 400 to the right, but this time instead of positive 300 up, we're going to go to negative 300 in the Y direction. So now if we run this, we get this, pen goes up, pen goes down, draws line. Perfect. So we have our starting line and our finish line. And yeah, let's see if we can get the turtle. Actually, let's try to throw this into a function. So let's do we'll write our function right here. So def create lines. Create lines? What are they called? The finish and starting. Starting and finish lines. What are they? I don't know. So what we want to do though is we want to pass some turtle. Call it tut. No, call it turtle. So we want to pass our turtle as our parameter, and we're going to be using just these values right here. So literally, we'll just copy this, paste it. We'll say this is going to be turtle. Actually, that might be a keyword. I'm not too sure if that's a keyword, but just in case, let's just call it tut. Actually, we'll call it pen. Pen makes sense, right? So we'll say pen, 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 da 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 da, pen. Do 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 do. So this is gonna be our turtle, right? Bum, 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 wow, 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 wow. So we can say captain. Oh, we'll call our function. We'll say create lines captain. And let's comment this out, and we should get the same exact thing. Okay, cool. That works perfectly, and we can just throw this into and there's actually we can clean this up a little bit since these values are very similar. We can just use the opposite, but that's fine. We'll do that in a separate time. I just want to get rid of this just so we can have everything in a function, and then we'll have to change the value of this to pen as well. And then I don't think we're gonna have enough time to move the turtles, so we'll go ahead and do that in another video. But I hope this makes sense. I'll go over it one more time. Let's go ahead and run this though, just to make sure it still works, and that looks good. So I'll move it right here. Yep, looks good. Okay, so let's walk through what we did. So ignore these two functions for now. So we created a variable called lonely boy. Lonely boy was in charge of creating a turtle, and all the functionalities in here. Inside of our parameters, we pass the shape turtle and the color green. You'll see here, shape is going to be turtle and color is going to be green. If we did not give it any values, so for example, in the case of captain, where we just left this blank, it's going to default to classic, which is just the arrow, and the color teal. That's why our pen is the color teal and not like green or red or anything else. Okay, so it creates this turtle inside this function, this local variable, general turtle, creates it. Then it gives it the shape. It gives it the shape of whatever we passed in. So in this case, it's turtle. Also with Lonely Boy's girlfriend, it's turtle. We then set the color. So with the case of Lonely Boy, it's going to be green, and in the case of Lonely Boy's girlfriend, it's going to be red. And we just returned the value of that turtle to this variable. So that's why it's able to create these multiple turtles. And we're able to reuse this functionality on multiple different turtles. And this create lines function, all it does is it takes some turtle as a parameter. In this case, I just passed in captain as our argument. And inside of this function, captain is just being called pen. I could have called it captain if I wanted to, but I just wanted to show you that you don't necessarily have to name your parameters the exact same as the values or as the names that are passed in. So I called it pen even though I passed in captain. They're the same thing, except inside of this function, captain is just going to be called pen. And I did exactly what we did to create our starting and finish line. I picked up my pen. I then went to the top left corner. I put my pen down, and then I went to the bottom left corner, pen up, went to the top right corner, and I just drew my finish line. And then that's where we're at. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.